Democrats, meanwhile, keep twisting the Joe Manchin Rubik's Cube. They need to put pressure on the West Virginia senator to vote their way. But if they push him too hard, they could lose his vote forever. Today, the president tried to drive a wedge between Manchin and his voters. That's a good idea, implying that he was keeping them in poverty. Watch.
You strip away all the dignity of a parent looking at their child. I'm not joking about this. Imagine being a parent looking at a child and you can't afford. You have no house to borrow against. You have no savings. It's wrong. But all the things in that bill are going to reduce prices.
You know what? I would rather live in West Virginia than Delaware. So is Joe Manchin the reason prices are so damn high? Here to discuss Real Clear Politics co-founder and executive editor Tom Bevan. So, Tom, it's very interesting. The squeeze didn't work with Manchin the first time. So apparently the playbook now is telling everyone to squeeze harder. Is that going to have different results the next time around?
I don't think so. And, you know, Biden did he took a couple questions there, and he was asked if Manchin betrayed his word, and he was unwilling to pick a fight there. He said, listen, we're going to get something done. Nancy Pelosi has signaled that this thing may not be fully dead. There may be a zombie aspect to it So it may be at least certain aspects of the Democratic Party, certain members are taking a more tolerant tone. Now, the left is still absolutely going nuts at Joe Manchin. We saw, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on Morning Joe. We saw Ilhan Omar, cursing on MSNBC. Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren. So the progressives' attitude toward Joe Manchin is, yes, we didn't beat him up enough last time. If we just beat him up a little more, we can get him to yes somehow. But I don't think that's going to work. And there certainly is an undercurrent that some Democrats may be taking a different tack trying to move forward.
Yes, and bullying him on his yacht, it's not a good idea. It's not a good tactic. It's not working. And it also, he is still popular with people in West Virginia, is he not? What is your polling showing you?
Yeah, I mean, he's his own brand in West Virginia. As one of your panelists mentioned, I mean, this is a state Donald Trump won by 40-plus points. And yet he manages to win even in a year when a lot of Democrats were losing, because he is sort of above politics in that state. So he's not going to be swayed by the left wing of the party, and it might actually backfire on him. We had a report out today that Senator John Cornyn had texted Manchin and said, hey, listen, if you want to come over to the GOP, we'd love to have you. Now, he said publicly he's not interested in becoming a Republican, but he could change his mind if the Democrats continue to try and run him out of the party based on this vote. It could be, he could decide to change his mind and feel like the party left him.
Yeah, it's the old Ronald Reagan line. I didn't leave my party left me. That is certainly what's happening to him. And I think part of this, it's not just about the particulars in the bill. It's about reclaiming the Democratic Party as he sees it. That's the party of the people of his state. That's what he wants back. He wants to get back to, those Camelot ideals that the Democrat Party has all abandoned in favor of socialism. And I don't think he wants to be a Republican. I could see him being an independent. We will see what happens. Tom Bevan, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kennedy.